Yay.
Hooray, everybody. Well, welcome back to Three Questions and Three Answers. My name is Steve Hirschberger, but you already know that. The good-looking guy on the screen is Phil Crawford. Phil is currently out on the East Coast enjoying the COVID experience from his home outside of New York City. Phil's got a number of interesting areas of experience that are relevant to today's discussion. He has been with Yard House, he's been with Shake Shack, and he's now with a chocolate company called Godiva. But I've known Phil for a couple of years, and Phil is a master at taking data and turning it into actionable intelligence that makes money. So with that, Phil, say hi to the 6 people that are watching.
Hello, 6 people and 7 being Steve. It's a pleasure. Thanks for the nice words. I'm not sure about the good looking part, but I'll take it when I can get it. So that's half the battle right there.
I was referring to me, not you.
Oh, you have a mirror on your computer. I forgot about those things. I get it. So yeah, no, appreciate the time, and look, you know, it's all about data interchange and exchanging information. So let's rock.
Yeah. All right. So Phil, you've done a couple of gigs that other people hadn't done before. So you guys started Yard House, and you created a beverage experience that was different than others had created in the past. So there really wasn't a playbook. And then you went off and kind of did the same thing within a QSR, a quick serve restaurant. And there were a lot of naysayers that said you can't really reinvent something that's been around for a million years and create something of incremental value because it's a beer and it's a hamburger and it's a milkshake. You proved them wrong, not just once, but a couple of times. So let's just talk about generalities. Talk about you know, what it was that was important to you, and how do you throw the preconceived notion out the window?
It's all about disruption, right? When somebody comes to you and they say you can't do it, that just inspires me to do it, but even do it better and better and faster. So looking back, you know, it's all about this thing about data, and data is such a bad nomenclature word that's way overused because everybody has data, but how do you use that data to make it actionable? So that's been the key to a lot of different successes, is taking a bunch of structured and non-structured data and getting it into a format so we can, in essence, have it actionable information so we can engage with our consumer on their terms, on their level, but also then anticipate that so we can make agile and decisions in real time and pivot accordingly. And that's something that it doesn't matter which industry, it can all transverse in a variety of ways. And I think whether it be beer, just knowing not knowing what's just on tap, but how do you know, for instance, what's on tap, what's relevant, what's the market see, and how do you do predictive analysis with that data was a good indicator there in that particular business. And then same with burgers, right? Some of our key to our claims to fame were LTOs, which were limited time offers. And a lot of that was data science driven. And how do you make those decisions of what's new, what's hip, what's relevant around sourcing information and local and then global standpoints in order to make an attempt to make something that nobody else has done.
Okay, so that's sort of easy to do from the office, but how do you translate that into an assistant general manager that is 2,000 miles away from you, or a server that's encountering a customer?
It's a culture, right? It's all about the culture and how you give those people in the field the information readily at their fingertips to transact with the consumer, but you also give them the information so they understand what they're talking about, right? So often that's not the case. So often you just give them a one-sheeter that doesn't have all the details and doesn't also give them access to resources where they can get even more detail so the consumer or a techie nerd that walk in like me and want to get more data about a product or a system or even an innovation. And that becomes the key, right? Getting that mindset of granularity is a massive success factor if you want to expand, and then continue with a breadth of knowledge, not just in your own 4 walls, but outside your 4 walls in a place 2,000 miles away.
So is it fair to say that when you're communicating with frontline staff, telling them what they need to do is one thing, but telling them why is equally important?
Yeah, it's both sides of that equation, 100%. I can tell the same person do the same routine over and over and over again, but unless they understand the why and how to translate it so they can relate, then it's pointless.
So some people would say that actionable intelligence is either a trite phrase or it's overused, or I would argue that most people don't understand what the hell it really is. So, in your opinion, what is it, and what are the myths that people are probably encountering as it relates to actionable intelligence that they need to know?
That it's that the word is way overused, like you said, and that it's never an exact science, right? That people look at, I'm gonna take it like a larger, broader stroke. People think that you need to keep all your data. I need to have 10 years of data to make an informed decision. When I am just the opposite, and I believe that you can get more agile with every scrap of data within the relative time frame in the last, call it, minor segment, in order to get a different trend. I think the reason why you would say that is because the world is evolving so quickly and so rapidly and so dynamically. Looking back 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, the world isn't the same. So it comes down to some of those myths about phrases that are way overused, because it's the cool thing to say and you think you know what you're talking about until you get into a conversation, you know what you're talking about at all.
Yeah, which is most of the time for me anyway.
Yeah. And then similar, right? People also say, well, I have an analytical platform. Well, they're all the same. They're not the same, right? It all comes down to the difference that you're looking for, right? It
well,
shows just a lack of
what does
research.
that mean? Tell me what that
What
means.
the
The
difference
difference
in what
you're
you're
looking
looking
for.
for?
Yeah, what's that mean?
Well, I mean, you can pilot different platforms and different theories, right? Is that if you have the right platform that shows you something you didn't know, that's the differentiator. Like, you think you walk into a situation, you only want to find subset A. But if you have the right platform, or a platform that gives you B, C, D, and E, you may never look for it if one only gives you one view of a, I use the word a bad analogy. It gives a two-dimensional triangle look. If I have a platform that gives me a three-dimensional triangle, but I could also look at that triangle as a square or other some kind of, rhombus or three-dimensional geographical I can't even say the word anymore. I had it in my head. Geometrical shape, then the better off you are, right? So many of these platforms they think it's out of the box. I plug it in and I get some magical answer. But what if it's a predetermined answer that's already in the box you get on a platform,
Yeah.
right?
So
It's conditioned one way.
they're looking past what they've already got because they think the
Yeah,
next thing is the shiny object.
correct. I mean, some of these platforms that are out there, they think it's the same thing. I won't name names just for respect, but they're not. It all becomes to the end user, and we have to figure out the differences what you're looking for.
So we're rounding the corner on time here. So we got just time for one last quick question.
Fast.
I know, man, it goes quick. And we haven't even used Goomba Galunga yet, which is nice. I got that going for me. So you have senior management, and senior management is looking for answers, and analytics teams that comprise floors 2, 3, or 4, or rooms 2, 3, or 4, depending on the size of the organization, are manipulating information to tell a story that they want to tell. And senior management believes that they know what they're doing because they've been doing it for the last 30 years, and the guys in the analytics department realize that the guys upstairs are idiots and they don't know half as much as they think they do. And so now you've got a conflict between the two, right? And the problem is that nobody talks about that to a greater or lesser degree. If you're senior management and there's a greater or lesser degree of that reality occurring, that there's a tension there, what's the one thing you do to try and break past that?
On a personal level, it's it's being humble, right? It's having some humility that I don't know it all, and there are certain folks in the world that think they do know it all. Those that lead and are successful realize that they don't, and take the insights somebody gives them And what they do is they can make it, how am I going to say this? They can learn something that they thought they knew one way, but would actually turn out to be another. So you take somebody that walks in, that might be a junior, and say, I came with this radical new data set that showed us this insights. You have a senior manager that might come and says, no, my way's the right way or no way. I think that the benefit of that is that you engage somebody in a way where they think that they had the answer all along, but you pose it in a different way where they were the ones that came up with the answer in a variety of different fashions. But it also comes down to humility, right? You have to be the first to walk into a meeting saying, I don't know it all, but it's okay if I don't. Somebody else might. I'm kind of give you two separate answers with two different streams of thought there, but I'll give you one of my perspective, and I give you one of what I think some leadership does. People do.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave it up to now the 9 people watching to figure that out. Everybody.
Oh, 9.
Yeah, I know. So we've got a 20% growth here in the last couple of minutes. No, actually,
is that data right?
In fairness, we won't publish this until tomorrow. So everybody, I want everybody to give a big round of virtual applause to Phil, my good friend Phil here. Snaps up. Phil, thanks again for your time, man, and let's catch up soon.
Anything for you, brother. Be good.
All right.
Stay safe.
Out.
All right. See ya.